Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the OBC. That stands for Orange and Brown Chat. That's the best I could come up with. So, till we come up with something better, that's just what it's gonna be. So, joining me as always is Cam.
Yo, yo, yo. What's up, man?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, bro. How about yourself?
Well, I think we both are. Not that we feel bad necessarily, but we both are kind of like in this spot of like I felt like I got kicked in the balls today. That's what it felt like. Talking about this Ohio State, Michigan getting canceled.
Yeah, man. I mean, it sucks. 'Cause, I mean, been waiting a whole year for this, bro. And I mean, for it to get canceled like this, it sucks. But I mean, that's what the state of world we're in with this COVID-19 stuff, man. Nothing's promised.
And I heard this today, and we'll just jump right into this. Ohio State has played Michigan for like the last 100 years straight. No breaks, no cancellations. I mean, think about everything that's happened in the last 100 plus years. Wars, disease, 9/11, stuff like that. And this is the first time that the game has been canceled. And it's just crazy to think about because immediately we're starting to talk about, okay, who can we replace them with? But when you take a step back and you look at where we're at right now, this is extremely historic. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
someday we're gonna look at our grandkids or our nieces and nephews and say, "Yeah, I was alive when the game got canceled." Like that's crazy to think about.
yeah. Never in a million years would I think Ohio State Michigan game would be canceled. I mean, I know you definitely didn't see it coming, but I mean, I thought I seen it in the back of my head, but I really didn't want to think that. But when I seen the news, it was just heartbreaking to see that it was canceled.
I knew as soon as I forget when it was when Michigan canceled. I believe it was just last week. They canceled their game. I think they were playing Maryland.
Yeah, it was
Um,
Maryland.
Yeah, when they canceled then and they announced that their program, they were shutting everything down, I knew then. I told my boss, I told the guy I work with, I said, there's no way this game happens. I said, they are going to cancel this. I made a video about it. I don't know when I posted that, but, Kirk Herbstreit comes out on ESPN and says, essentially, hey, what if Michigan cancels this game? Ohio State, that would put them below the number, or at least currently, barring any rule changes, that would put Ohio State below the number to get into the Big Ten championship. And that, of course, has playoff, effects. And, when that happened today, I didn't expect it to happen today, honestly. I expected it to happen Thursday, late Wednesday, something like that. But I knew, and everybody saying, "Oh, no, you're crazy. There's no way. You're just a conspiracy theorist." There's zero chance that Michigan cancels. Well, guess what? They did. And I can tell you one thing. What's coming next is Jim Harbaugh is going to step down from coach. He's going to step down as head coach from Michigan and he's going to go to the NFL. Because what I've heard is either one or two things are going to happen. He has 5 offers, I guess, supposedly, from teams who would be interested in the NFL, or he's going to sign a 3-year extension with Michigan, but the payoff clause would be very low. So, in other words, they can get out of that contract. So, one or two things are going to happen. I think he's out. I've said this when I first thought they were going to cancel this game that this is Jim Harbaugh getting out of Another loss to Ohio State, and he can leave on his own will. That's what I thought. So, what do you think about that? Do you think he's going to end up leaving? Are you there? Are you muted?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. So, what do you think about that?
Um, I really don't really see them firing Harbaugh. I mean, it's not really a lot of names out here you can really replace him with. I mean, if you look at his overall record, I mean, as a Michigan head coach, this has not been pretty. I mean, hasn't beat Ohio State. He's barely beaten Michigan State. I mean, he's not doing. I mean, I can see if you're just having trouble with Ohio State, but he's having trouble beating the teams in his division. In his, quite frankly, if you can't beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, and I mean, you've seen this numerous of times. Teams that Michigan are favored against, and they end up getting upset by these teams. I mean, give me your thoughts on that.
I think Jim Harbaugh, I don't think he's going to be fired. Okay. I think he
Okay.
himself is going to leave. I think he's going to resign. And
Okay.
this is what I mean tying this all back together. I don't think they will fire him unless he refused to leave. I think that the reason why they canceled this game now, of course, yeah, sure they probably do have a lot of cases, of the virus going through their
Yeah, definitely.
program, but Ohio State did too. We had like almost 30 players out against Michigan State. And yeah, they're not starters, not all of them, but
Those guys came in and did their job and filled a role.
exactly. And I think somebody said this, and I completely agree. If the roles were, tongue tied, if the roles were reversed and Michigan was in the shoes of Ohio State right now, this game would be played. It's absolutely going to get played, or it would
Oh,
have been
definitely,
played.
definitely, definitely.
So it's frustrating to me because there's some people like Rich Eisen I heard today saying, I don't want to hear anybody talking about Michigan canceling this on purpose to keep Ohio State out. Well, if there wasn't any of that, then to me, why haven't they come out and said, "Hey, this is the amount of cases we have. We wouldn't be able to field a team." That's different. If they literally can't put a team out there, that's fine. Then I understand. Then you have to. But
Even even if that was the case, it's kind of hard not to be able to field a team in college football. I mean, it's not like you have a roster limit. You got tons of players in college football, so I mean, it's kind of hard to not to field a team. But I mean, that could also be the case as well.
and that's what I'm thinking. I think Michigan could have played this game, and I think that there is some um hi- not shady stuff behind it, but there's a reason why they're not playing it outside of, hey, we have cases, because there's been a ton of teams that have cases. Um and I'm not saying don't take it seriously, obviously, but I think this game could have got played. And let's just talk about this. Who who's going to be the replacement now? Do you think Ohio State can get a
Um,
replacement by Saturday or Sunday? Because I've heard that too. I've heard possibly a Sunday game.
Sunday will be nice since it's no Brown Sunday, but
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that. Perfect week.
I really think that Maryland's really. I think we're gonna reach out. I think Maryland's gonna agree to play us.
Okay. Okay.
There were
And
some speculations about Indiana, but I mean, we already played them. But I think Maryland's gonna accept to play us this Saturday.
yeah, and I know this is pre-recorded, but breaking news: the top 25 or the top 6 for the playoffs
Yeah, I
are
just
still the
seen that.
same. So
Yeah,
I mean, not a whole lot of news there, keeping Ohio
not,
State at 4, but
it's not gonna change at all.
I think the final one. might change. The final one will change because either Notre Dame will beat Clemson twice or Clemson will beat Notre Dame, and they'll flip flop probably.
It's kind of hard to see Notre Dame being Clemson twice, especially with Trevor Lawrence back. But I
Yeah.
mean, anything can happen.
I honestly I want Ohio State to how should I say this? I want Ohio State to play Notre Dame in the first round because I think Ohio State beats Notre Dame by probably touchdown and a field goal, two scores. I don't
Okay.
believe Notre Dame's that good. I don't.
No, I definitely don't. I mean, we've seen them make the playoffs. What was that, about 2 years ago?
Yep.
And just totally get embarrassed. I mean, and a lot of us as Ohio State fans thought we should have been in that spot and could have put up a better fight than Notre Dame. So yeah.
Yeah, I heard. I'm stealing this line, by the way. I didn't come up with it, but somebody said I heard somebody say Notre Dame is and will always be what their helmets are, fool's gold.
I
So
mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect Notre Dame, honestly. I just
No,
don't
Notre Dame,
think.
they're not the Notre Dame that like our grandfathers and our great grandfathers used to watch.
Yeah,
They're not that same Notre Dame anymore. And I mean, I think that's what people are trying to make them as, but it's not who they are anymore.
I think I Notre Dame could play. Honestly, if you want just the full truth, this is straight up my opinion. If Notre Dame played a fully healthy Clemson team, I think they lose by two scores. A fully healthy Alabama team, I think they lose by two scores or more. Same thing
And
with
call
Ohio State.
call me crazy if I say this, but I don't think Alabama's that good. I'm taking Ohio State over Alabama if we have to play them.
I think it would be a lot closer than people think. I really do. Because a lot of people look at Alabama like they are the Alabama teams of the past. And I'm not saying they haven't been good because clearly
No,
they
no, yeah.
have been.
That's not what I'm saying either. I'm just saying
Yeah.
I just don't think they're a better team than Ohio State. Not saying that because I'm just a Ohio State Buckeyes fan, but as a talent standpoint on offense, and I mean our defense could be better, but I mean you got to look at it. I mean we got a lot of young players, and we lost a lot of talent on our defense side of the ball. I mean, and these guys have only played what 5 games, 4 games,
Yeah, five.
so they really haven't. And plus, no spring ball, so these guys are still trying to gel and learn how to play with each other. So I think that defense will get stronger and better. Like kind of like an example what we're seeing with the Browns. I mean, we got a lot of holes on defense, but they're getting better every week.
Yep, and you hit the nail on the head there. I think Ohio State has the better talent, but I think Alabama has the better experience
Yeah,
right now.
definitely, definitely.
And if Ohio State and Alabama matched up today, like, well, maybe not today, tomorrow. Let's say Ohio State played Alabama tomorrow on a neutral field. I think Alabama wins. Maybe the score would be closer, but I think Alabama would always have the upper edge. You know what I mean? Where Ohio
Yeah,
State would still put up a fight, but Bama would always have that upper edge. I feel like right now, you hit it. This is what I mean when you hit it on the head. That defense is so young and so inexperienced that when you only play 5 games, I mean, they can't. I mean, what are you going to do in 5 games?
yeah.
In
It's
five
it's
games
tough.
in a regular season, you're just starting to get you're just starting to get in a rhythm. So I think when Ohio State gets, well, I mean, I'm just gonna
Like
go.
if we would have started, season would have been over last week, right? Thanksgiving, the
It would have been the Big
weekend.
Ten title last week.
Yeah, last week season would have been over. Then we would be preparing for playoffs.
Yep. And I
So
think,
yeah, these young guys are missing a lot of football. I mean, it's not a knock on them. I mean, the guys that we have on defense are talented. Like Malik Hooker's brother, he's
yes.
he's looked kind of a little confused, a little with coverages. I mean, even Sean Wade looked like he took a step back, but that's not their fault.
It's inexperience. I mean,
Yeah,
Sean Wade went from playing nickel corner to now playing outside.
outside. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
inside. Now he's playing outside. Yeah,
And
totally.
you got guys like Seven Banks coming in. I mean, Proctor played somewhat last year, but
Yeah,
I mean,
Seven Banks is still new to the starting role.
very new. And I think this team now, especially this defense right now, since we're talking about it, and same thing, honestly, same thing with the offense, because there's a lot of young guys, especially in that receiving core,
Yes,
that
yes.
once we get to the playoffs, and I'm just, you never know, but I'm going to put us in the playoffs. I think you're going to see a much better performance out of those young guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Because in
And
that
for
secondary,
example, look at Jamison Williams.
yes,
I
yes,
That guy has really came out of his shell. I mean, he has flashes of greatness, especially in that Penn State game.
yes, yes. I'm so glad you said that because,
Jamison Williams has a bright future at Ohio State.
dude, what year is he? Do you know? Is he a sophomore?
Um, I think he's a sophomore, so Olave will be leaving, so he'll be stepping up in that role.
Oh, man.
So number two, and the freshmen Smith and Jigba,
Yes.
a lot. We have a lot of talent in our receiver room, man. The
Dude, do you realize?
number one receiver in the nation is going to be committing soon too. So we'll see where
Exactly.
he is up.
December 11th, I think,
Yeah.
the
So
day
if we
for.
add him, our receiver room is has a good chance to be the best receiver room in the country.
No, 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 no. There is no chance. It is. It is. There's no chance. Dude, think about what we got right now. I mean, currently, right now, on the roster. Not
Got
talking about
Wilson,
recruits.
Olave. We have
Yeah.
a lot of talent,
And
and that shows you that just shows you another thing. That's also why Michigan really can't compete with us because our recruiting is just crazy.
they won't. If Michigan signs Jim Harbaugh, based on what I've heard, if one of those is true and Michigan does sign him for another 3 years, forget about it. Michigan won't beat Ohio State for the next 5+ years.
No, their recruiting is just too soft. I don't know what it is. They
It's
don't.
Jim
They,
Harbaugh.
I
That's
mean,
what it
yeah.
is.
I mean, but it just doesn't make sense. It's not smart.
I mean, what did we hear when he first came there? Oh, just wait. Just wait till he gets his guys, his recruit.
Oh man, his guys
Seriously.
number two prospects, number three prospects.
And it's development. What does Ohio State do? We are DBU for a reason. We put out guys
Yes.
every single year. It's because we develop them. It's not that they're
Yeah,
not great
look
talents.
at all our defensive line prospects in the NFL and corner prospects. Look at those
Exactly.
guys. Denzel Ward, Marshawn Lattimore, um, Kendall Sheffield. I could go on and on, man.
Yep. Von Bell, Eli Apple. I mean, not the
Same thing,
greatest
same
guys, but still they're going to the
still
league.
solid, nice players. And look at the defensive line. The Boza brothers, Chase
Chase
Young,
Young.
Devon Hamilton, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cameron
Cam
Hayward.
Hayward. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and I tell you what, I'm starting to, as Browns fans, we're so used to looking forward. One guy that I would love to see us pick up potentially later on in the draft, 2, 3, 4th round rather.
Okay. Okay.
Tough Borland. Tough
Wow. Yeah.
Borland.
Tough Borland. Or hey, Pete Werner will even be nice too.
Yeah, I don't know if are they both seniors this year? I
I
think.
think I think they are.
Oh,
Or
and
Pete.
Baron Browning.
Yeah. Pete might be a junior if I don't know. He's
I
either a junior or a senior.
I could see Pete if he is a junior. I could see him staying. He seems like a um not a loyal guy. I don't want to
And
mean. I don't
you
mean
know who
that, but
Pete Werner kind of reminds me of?
who's that?
A Joe Schobert.
Kind of. Yeah, I can see that. Similar, very similar
Similar play
build.
style a little.
Yeah, and
He can
play
get you
style.
tackles and he can cover.
Yeah, I think the Browns, if they were able to get either Tough Borland or Baron Browning in, second, third, or fourth round, not first, but if they can snag one of those guys, I think, look at what we've seen from Fuller this year, right? Fuller kind of goes under the rug at Ohio State. People kind of, oh, he's good, but I don't know if he's going to be that great in the NFL. He's lighting it
Yeah,
up with the Rams.
he's a dog with the Rams, man.
And that's what I think could happen with
In
these
a
guys.
late round pick at that too.
Yeah, and that's my point.
That's a hit or miss pick,
Whoops.
and they look like they hit on it.
Can you hear me? My
Yeah,
thing just fell. The stupid adapter box. I had it sitting up on my counter here and was talking and I moved wrong and it just pulled the thing out. Um so what was I saying? Oh, linebacker. So yeah, I mean, um yeah, with Fuller, guys like that who are decent or good, they're not great at Ohio State, slip through the cracks and end up being pretty good.
and yo, another example. Look at Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin was not that good at Ohio State. I mean, let's just be honest. And look at him now, lighting the league up.
Oh yeah. I remember before that draft, I was talking to somebody and he's not an Ohio State fan. He's a Minnesota fan. And he was going, well, he's a Browns fan too, but he was going, yeah, maybe we can get Terry McLaurin. He'd be a pretty good special teams guy. It's like, look at him now. Holy crap,
Just special teams, huh?
man. But right there, that goes to show you what, Ohio State, yeah, they have their elites of the elites, but, those good
And
players
I mean, you
turn
got to
out to,
look at it, man. It's so much talent at Ohio State. A lot of guys don't get to see the field as much.
yeah, yeah, it gets too crowded. I mean, look at the whole Joe Burrow situation. You
Yeah,
had two first round quarterbacks and
Haskins, JT Barrett.
yeah,
That's some competition to try to beat out for a starting spot at the backup role at that.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, look, Haskins, first round pick. Obviously, he hasn't turned out that great yet. I think he needs another chance. Um, Joe Burrow, first overall pick. And I mean, yeah, it just keeps happening. But I mean, Joe Burrow, I can't remember what spring game it was. I don't know if I've already said this before on here, but
Yeah, I know exactly what spring game we're talking about. He was lighting it up.
yes, I was there and me and a guy from my church went because this is before I moved here meaning Columbus. Um, we drove to Columbus for the spring game and his friend, I mean, the guy from church I went with, he brought his friend who's the Notre Dame fan, and he sat by me. So we were talking about football, just watching, And I mean, when you go to the spring game, it's almost like you're
Just
scouting.
evaluating talent. Yeah,
Yeah. So we're sitting there and we're looking, and we both are like, "Oh my gosh, this Burrow kid is insane!" And I mean, he was just dropping dimes. And I can't imagine, you know, if that was his first couple years or whatever at Ohio State. I
yeah.
mean,
You
no
you
wonder.
gotta look at it too. He got injured as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's how he ended up transferring because he broke his wrist, right?
Yeah,
And that's what made Haskins the backup, you know? I mean, the whole thing could have happened opposite. It could have been Haskins that transferred, you know? It's just how fate goes, really. I mean, can't really control it. You just got to ride the wave.
yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, so who do you think will okay, so you said Maryland, that's who you think Ohio State will play?
Yeah, I think we'll play Maryland Saturday.
Yeah, that I heard they were reaching out to Maryland. That's who I was talking about Sunday, possibly
I even
playing
heard some
Sunday.
speculations with people saying Texas A&M as well too. But
Yes.
I doubt we'll play them though. But since it's outside of the conference, but I heard some Texas A&M rumors as well.
Honestly, when the news first came out that Michigan canceled, that is the first thing I said. Get A&M on the phone, get them down here, or we'll go there. Let's play it. Four
Yeah,
versus five.
I don't care where it's at. Let's just play.
Yeah, and I turned on the fan here in Columbus when the news broke, and they were like, "This
Okay.
is this is ridiculous. Why would you schedule or not schedule, but why would you play A&M just to play your 6 games? Why not play just a lower tier team and get into the Big Ten title game?" Well, if you play Texas A&M, who's the
Make our
five
stock go
team,
up. Yeah, ranked.
Exactly. You might move up to number 3 or number 2, you know? That's why I would play it. Because right now, if Ohio State
I
finishes
mean,
out,
let's be honest, man. I mean, Texas A&M's not really a threat to Ohio State either.
no, I'm not afraid of Texas. I hate
I mean,
Kellen
I'm
Mond.
yeah. I mean, I hate being. I don't like being cocky like that. But I mean, you just it's a whole talent. Talent is just the talent is just
I'm not afraid of them.
no.
And by the way, I'm not afraid of Florida. I don't care. Let's line up and play Florida. Let's line up and play Georgia. Let's line up and play A&M. If you are a top team, you should be able to. That's the whole point. So, I mean, I get it. You just got to play one game to get into the Big Ten title game. But we've only played, that would put us at 7 games. 7 games. So, I mean, at least make those games count or important.
Definitely.
So,
Especially like yeah, makes ton of
so
sense.
we'll see what ends up happening with Ohio State. I know we're both frustrated, but I mean, there's a bunch of different scenarios, and it's just kind of like, okay, where do we go from here? So, but it's not up to us, I mean, if we could decide, there's a reason why we're not in control of things. So, but moving on, I know we talked about that for a while, but we just got to get that off of our chest. But
Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
before we get into the Browns talk, I wanted to talk about this quickly and get your thoughts. What do you think about the Eagles benching Carson Wentz and going with Jalen Hurts?
I seen it coming sooner or later. It actually should have happened sooner. I mean, um, I think we both agree Carson Wentz's good days are behind him, and I think it's time for the Eagles to go in a different direction, man.
I completely agree. I think I like Carson Wentz. I really loved him like his first couple years, when he was a shoe in for MVP. Then he gets injured. They still win a Super Bowl. I thought Carson Wentz was going to be a top 5, top 3 quarterback. But I think the reality is, and you've seen this all the time throughout the history of the NFL, once your injuries start piling up, it's over. And yeah, the Eagles have him on a huge contract. They're paying him a bunch of money. I get it. But Jalen Hurts right now is way better than Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz just looks
Yep.
lost.
Yeah.
And Jalen
You know
Hurts,
what Carson Wentz reminds me of? What he looks like?
a deer in the headlights.
Looks like Johnny Manziel, man, not knowing what the heck he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, different different build, but as far
Yeah.
as just watching how they're playing, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like, who is this guy? If you turn on film from 2017 and watch Carson Wentz versus now, you don't know who it is now. I mean,
I
they're
mean,
just
it's kind of
so
like
completely different.
it's kind of like with Brock Osweiler when he was with Denver. Then you turn on his Houston film or
Yeah.
whatever other team was on. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it, Eagles fans. And yeah, Doug Peterson deserves a lot of blame. And yeah, they don't have the greatest roster, but to me, I think to show how good of a quarterback you are, you need to be turn a bad team into a decent team. You know, you're the quarterback. Look at go back to Baker's rookie year. That wasn't a great team.
No, not at
That
all.
was a bad team, really,
Especially
but
after
he
all the
turned it
trade.
into a decent team.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if all the Hugh Jackson mess and Saucy Brown, all that mess.
Yeah. So, and obviously, it's not the same situation in Philly, but Jalen Hurts is their guy. I have no doubt about it. I mean, in college, he had to adapt, and yeah, he lost his job to Tua, but Tua was also really perfect for what Saban wanted to do.
I mean, if you look at it, bro, it was kind of like the Ohio State situation with Burrow and Haskins.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Jalen Hurts. And by the way, Eagles, you're not going to watch this, but whatever. Don't if Jalen Hurts comes out and doesn't play great against the Saints, don't make that be his last start. Give him another shot because the Saints are a really good football team. So his first start is against a really tough team. Don't be trigger happy. If he struggles a little bit. So, but yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way because I think Wentz's days in Philly are over. And they're not going to be able to straight up cut him. They might be
Too
able to
much
trade
money.
him, but I don't know. We'll see. But let's just get into it. The Cleveland Browns are 9-3. 9-3. Completely dominating the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Give me your thoughts.
Well, first off, shout out to Baker Mayfield, man. Unbelievable first half, man.
4 touchdowns. Should have been 5.
Yep. 334 yards.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You know who needs some credit as well? Shout out to BJ Goodson and the defense, man. Defense actually, they proved me wrong Sunday. I didn't expect them to do much Sunday, but they made me swallow my words Sunday.
I agree to an extent. I think they were
I
great in
know
the
they,
first
I know
half.
they, I know they let the Tennessee come back, but I mean, that's what good football teams do. They make adjustments.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right there. But I mean, I cannot believe Derrick Henry only. I mean, they shut him down for the most part.
Yeah.
And I mean, Josh Jacobs tore this defense up. Obviously the Ravens run game, and there's been, we haven't been horrible, but I thought Derrick Henry was just going to go off. I mean, look at last week against Jacksonville. What's that kid's name? The rookie? You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't even know his name.
He went off. He had a great game against the Browns. So I was like, oh, shoot. Now we got to play Derrick Henry. Oh, boy. But they shut him down. And you know what? They didn't shut him down like with speed. They didn't shut him down, getting creative. They just straight up out physicaled them. I mean, how many times did you see BJ Goodson or
Sheldon Richardson, for other
and Taki had some pretty good run stuff plays. Just come in and just lay a hit on them.
Mac Wilson as well.
Yeah. Sometimes, and I think what it is, honestly, I think they were not afraid of him. And I think that might be the problem with a lot of other teams. They go in thinking, oh, this is Derrick Henry. And, they're afraid to hit him because how many videos have we seen of people getting absolutely trucked? You know, I mean, our guys went in, said, I don't care, and hit him. So I think that was a big part of it. Um, but yeah, what'd you think about the run game for Tennessee? What'd you think about how they shut them down?
Run game. The key is, well, don't let him get to the outside. I mean, we can see, what Derrick Henry does when he gets to the outside, and up the middle as well. I mean, you gotta put bodies on him. Shout out to the defensive line for being stout all game, and I mean,
Yes. Yes.
kudos to Sheldon Richardson, man. Sheldon Richardson had a big game and a key stop on third down.
Yes, he did. He had a huge game. And it's nice to see him, being a vet, step up. I thought they did a great job. But the story of the game is Baker Mayfield. I said it in my review. He threw up 2 middle fingers and said, "This is who I am. This is why I'm the number 1 pick." And it was absolutely great to see because it's like how many weeks do we have to turn on the TV and listen to people complain and say how terrible he is. This man was like, what, 22 of 32 or something like that, 4 touchdowns, 300 whatever yards. Should have had 5 touchdowns. He did all that in the first half.
Yeah, the game was
Imagine
over
if
the first half.
imagine if we came out with the same game plan for like the third quarter and just kept piling it on. He
We
would
would
have
have
had
scored
like
about
7
56.
touchdowns. What'd you say?
We would have scored about 56 points.
I know. And I think that's one of the things that Kevin Stefanski has got to learn, because we've saw this a few times this season.
You know what it kind of reminds me of a little, but not like that though.
What's that?
Old Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Come out second half and just don't score again, you know?
But the good news is Kevin Stefanski is young and he's learning on the job. I mean, this is his first year as a head coach. So, I mean, the good news is like with Urban, he already knew it. But with Kevin, it's like, hey, you're still learning. You get somewhat of a pass. And excuse me, Colin Cowherd surprisingly said a good point. I know that's rare, but he came out and he's was talking about the game, whatever, and he's like, I'm going to give Cleveland a complete pass for that second half. He said, the Browns are learning how to win. They are, this is the first year where they've been a good team, not just decent, but been a really good team. And they're learning how to shut out games. So I think he's right there. I think it's just a learning thing. What do you think about that? Do you think it's you think it's gonna last, or do you think that's just gonna get better with time?
I think it'll get better with time because, I mean, you can't do that in the playoffs. You just can't do that in the playoffs. So I think it'll get better.
Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I agree with pretty much everything he said. And he said, and I'll just get into this, right? And we were gonna film this yesterday, but stuff came up. I had to do stuff for Christmas, but people, the thing about this game against the Titans, talking about Baker, it was like, okay, finally, I could turn on these shows and they can't say anything negative. Like, what are they gonna say? He had like one. What was the only bad play? Was a fumble. All right, yeah, obviously that's bad, but it's not like you can turn on the TV and they have a bunch of things to pull from and make it seem like he sucked, which he didn't in Jacksonville, and they acted like he did. He had 3 bad plays, and that's all they talked about. But the thing that made me mad is Stephen A. Smith was talking about this game, and they said, hey, you've said a ton of things. Has Baker earned your respect? Yada yada. And you know what Stephen A. Of course not.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a terrible Stephen A. impression, but he said, no, he didn't earn my respect. Yada yada yada. All these excuses. You know what? Seriously, Stephen A. If Baker Mayfield does this how many times in a row, and that doesn't earn your respect, then we don't want your respect, dumbass. He comes out and puts up crazy numbers in the first half, and the Browns come out in the second half and basically just play conservative, try not to lose. If you can't watch the game and you can't do your job and actually look into this stuff and realize what happened, and then you want to come out and honestly, congratulations to Stephen A. You're the most successful scam artist in America, because somehow you convinced ESPN to pay you millions of dollars to talk about sports in which you know nothing about. So
Definitely
congratulations.
don't. Yeah.
It's just so it's like, and then another thing, and this is just so stupid. He was talking about um Baker's wife, Emily, was
Oh yeah, I was watching that.
yeah,
Yep.
saying I can't remember what, either she said something or she liked a post or whatever. Basically, the point was, hey, we proved you wrong, whatever. And Stephen A is coming out criticizing her for that. But I see so many other players and so many other um girlfriends and family and whatever coming out saying stuff. You don't say anything then. It's only when it comes to the Browns. And how many threats and how many hate messages has Baker gotten and his family gotten? Because all you people do is go on ESPN, and it's not just ESPN, is all of these sports talk shows. Every single one of these hosts or people, they talk without anything to back it up. And this is the power of the media. You come out and you say, well, Baker Mayfield should have never been the number one overall pick. He's playing terrible, yada, yada, yada. And guess what? People think that. And so what they do is then they come out and they say the same thing. And it snowballs. And then eventually it gets to the point where you got people saying threats. And it's like, so yeah, she should be able to come out and say, hey, proved you wrong. Because you know what? You put them in a horrible situation, you know? You get what I'm saying? I feel like I'm just rambling. You muted?
Nah. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, man, Stephen A. I mean, he said some of the most idiotic things I've heard, especially when it comes to sports. I mean, why can't the man just give Mayfield his credit, man? The man came out there and balled yesterday, man. I mean, completely stuck his middle finger up to everybody yesterday, or Sunday, I should say.
Sunday. My question is, if that doesn't earn your respect, what does? Seriously. That's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
question.
yeah.
That's the question. What does?
The man went out there and beat a proven team, a team that's people were picking to go to the Super Bowl this year, man. And the AFC, they were in the AFC Championship game last year, man.
And
That's a proven football team.
they didn't just beat a proven football team. They embarrassed them. I
Yeah,
went
that
into that
totally.
game thinking, hey, it is what it is. We're a pretty good
Eight and
team,
three.
but I was not expecting that. I honestly, I wasn't expecting to win.
I woke up expecting to win, but I didn't expect to win like that.
I just kind of like, because I've had so many games where if we lose and, I get my hopes up, I'm just completely devastated, which I guess is being a fan in general. But, with the Browns, it happens so much, it just beats you up. But I came into this game like, you know what? I just want to be competitive. I don't want to get blown out. I understand they're a good team, and we kicked the crap out of them. So, I mean, that was really surprising, pleasantly surprising. And it looks like the Browns have basically 11 wins locked up. 11-5 is pretty much guaranteed with the Jets and the Giants left.
I'm not even saying 11-5. I only see us losing one more game.
Well, that's a perfect segue. Baltimore Ravens coming up on Monday Night Football. Are they playing tonight?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They're about to come on soon.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
You think we're going to win that game?
I do, convincingly as well.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Convincingly?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you know what? When we coming off of that Titans game, that's the first thing that popped in my head was, oh, we have the Ravens next. Not just the Ravens. We have the Ravens on Monday Night Football, prime time in Cleveland. And, everybody's talking about, hey, well, the Browns aren't for real. Who have they beaten? And yeah, I get it. but you got to beat the teams on your schedule too, you know? So this is our chance to really get revenge on the Ravens, because if the Browns beat the Colts, then they come out and they beat the Titans, then they come out and they beat the Ravens. You cannot you can't say we're not a good team. You can't.
And I mean,
So
let's look at this. I mean, are the Ravens a good team right now? I mean, they're going through some struggling issues with their COVID outbreak and injuries, and also, I mean, their identity. I don't think they know what their identity is right now.
there's a real chance that the Ravens could miss the playoffs. There's a real chance. How crazy is that? Like, it's not even just like, oh, well, they could. There's a real chance. And guess what, people? Guess what, Browns fans? If we win Monday, we clinched. We clinched the playoffs. You remember in the preseason we were talking about, oh, that Steelers game, the last game of the year, that might be to get into the playoffs or not. We could clinch.
The playoffs Monday.
Exactly.
When was the last time you been in the playoffs? 2002.
Dude, this is the first time we've had a winning season since 2007. 2007.
Derek Anderson was your quarterback that year.
The Browns are different. I mean, people could let's keep pretending they suck. The Browns are on their way up. The Browns are about honestly, the Browns are about to be a great, great team for years to come. Look at this team, look at this coach, look at the quarterback, look at the GM, and look at the young talent.
I mean, you gotta look at the coach too. GM Young and Coach Young.
Yeah, and how many of these great teams are, they have, a great coach or a pretty good GM, but I mean, look at KC right now. No disrespect, but Andy Reid, I mean, he's not young. I don't know who their GM is. I can't remember.
No.
But the Browns right now, if it's what Rex Ryan said, if this is the Baker Mayfield that the Browns get going forward, watch out.
Yes.
Because this is not just a dangerous Baker Mayfield. This is a dangerous team.
Cleveland Browns team, yep.
And I am pumped up, not just for the rest of this season.
I mean, look at the offseason, free agency and the draft, man.
I am pumped up. And, it's like I just said.
Hey, yo, before we move on, I need to shout out somebody.
Go ahead.
Shout out to my mother-in-law, Miss Drake. You're the best. I love you. All right, we can continue.
Shout out, Miss Drake. But what I'm saying is I am pumped up for, the current, but I'm pumped up for the future too. Think about where we're at right now. The offense.
This was a 20-year process, man.
Yeah, the offense that's currently here is gonna be the same next year. Maybe not OBJ. We can talk about that later. But this offense that we're having success with right now, Kareem Hunt, Chubb, Landry,
Hollywood Higgins.
Yeah, Landry, Higgins,
Bryant, Hooper.
Yeah, this is going to be the same offense. So you know what we're going to do in the offseason? Defense. Fix it. We're going to have Ronnie Harrison coming back.
Grant Delpit coming off injury.
Grant Delpit will be back. We're going to have Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams on top of Myles Garrett. And guess what? What happens if we go out and draft Kwity Paye? What happens if we get Basham Jr.? Get another stud defensive end? What if we go out and we draft a Dylan Moses? Get a stud linebacker?
Yep.
I mean, this team, it's I don't want to say like we're going to be locked for the Super Bowl, and that's not what I'm saying. But this team is going to be able to compete for Super Bowls. They're going to be able to contend for Super Bowls.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And that's not like wishing. That's not like, well, I hope we can. No, this team
That's
is
knowing. Look
built.
at the way the team is getting built. You can tell.
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's absolutely insane. Uh-oh. I lost my headphones. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to go grab a different pair of headphones. My headphones literally just went out. So just give me like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. I don't know what happened. It literally, I was going and then all of a sudden, like I heard a pop and I didn't know if it was my mic, but it's not. So anyway, where do we leave off?
Um, Dynasty building.
Oh, yeah. But oh, excuse me. I think that Baker is on the verge of becoming everything I hoped he would. You know what I mean? Like you can see it starting to happen.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen flashes of it, but not the full potential.
But it seems like it's starting to get put together, you know. Bengals game. OBJ goes down. Obviously not rooting for injury, but what happens? He stops keying in on one guy and he
Basically,
finishes
put the
with
whole team on his back, man.
yeah. And oh well, it's the Bengals. Yeah, it is the Bengals. But you know what? Good
It's
teams
still the
beat bad
NFL, man.
teams.
It's still the NFL.
And that was a Joe Burrow Bengals. So, you know, and and then it's like, oh well, he wasn't great against the Eagles. He wasn't great against the Raiders. He wasn't great against the Texans. Well, I'm sorry. I'd like to see you go try to throw in 50-mile-an-hour winds and rain and hail and snow. You know, 3 weeks in a row. I mean, the Eagles game wasn't as bad, but it was still rain. So I'm saying, yeah, people are saying, oh, well, where have we seen it if he's so great without OBJ? Well, the weather plays into effect. And then against Jacksonville, he played a great game, but all everybody talked about was 3 plays because one was extremely bad, the other was pretty bad, and the other one was just bad. So, you know, um, but to me, it seems like that point in Baker's rookie year where we all thought we had a superstar, like superstar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
That's how it feels now. Like it feels like we're getting back to that.
Like we finally have that superstar once again. I mean, we didn't know what happened like last year. I mean, of course, we all know what happened, but we didn't know at the time.
And I think I can't remember. I think it was Mary Kay put this on Twitter that because of the virus and the cap hit that's going to come from that, um signing or picking up Baker's 5th year is going to be like only 20 million compared to like whatever it was, like 30 plus. So his 5th year is going to get picked up. No doubt.
Oh, definitely. Even if he didn't have a good year, it was gonna get picked up.
So next year, honestly, next year is going to be really interesting to see. Not that this year isn't, but next year you get a better defense, hopefully, what should be. Um, you're going to get Baker, hopefully, coming off of a red hot end of the year. Hopefully, we make a good push in the playoffs, at least win a playoff game, compete. Next year's going to be insane.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And honestly, I'm more excited for Stefanski. I really am. Because if this is what he's doing in his first year as a head coach, he's only going to get better. I mean, we could go 12-4 in his first year as a head coach with not a whole lot of changes, really. I mean, the two tackles, that's the only major changes. Hooper, I guess. So, I mean, what he's done in this season, dealing with all these different things, is just insane. So, I'm excited for him. But you said you think we're going to beat the Ravens. You got a score prediction? You're muted.
I say we beat the Ravens 31-17.
31-17. I'm going to say we beat the Ravens 38-24.
Okay, 30-24.
So, but yeah, I think the Browns are going to come off of the Titans game confident and focused. Where they're not feeling themselves like they think they're better than they are, but
Yeah, definitely.
they understand that they can beat good teams and they're not going to come into it fearing the Ravens.
No, not at all.
So I am looking forward to that game. Now, the only downside is we normally don't play as great Monday nights,
Yeah, terrible Monday night game.
but it's in Cleveland. The last two Monday night games we played were in
San
New
Fran,
York,
oh my goodness.
and yeah. So maybe it's just, in Cleveland. Hopefully we'll wear our color rush. That'd be
Yeah, I
nice.
haven't seen those in a minute.
Yeah. Cowboys game was the last one. So anyway, I know this was a longer one, but wrapping up, let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Cam Chasing with two wins. You can find me on Twitter at Cameron Crawford. You can find me on my Browns page at Browns Nation.
And when I post this on social media, I will tag him. So if you are not following him already, go check him out. And thanks for all the support. Yeah, I mean, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts.
Yep,
I know
yep,
we hit
yep.
a couple different topics. Normally it's just Browns, but I felt like we needed to talk about them. So hopefully by the next time we talk to you, the Browns are 10 or wait a minute. Yeah, 10-3. Hopefully. Hopefully Ohio State played a game. And yeah, hopefully we're rolling. So
Yeah, see you
thanks for
guys on
watching.
Tuesday.
Yep. Thanks for watching the OBC, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.